One thing I wanted to point out to you guys is that when you're talking about equations versus expressions, the only difference is that equations have an equal sign and expressions usually don't. So that's why in the past we talked about rational expressions, we talked about other types of expressions, rational exponential expressions and things like that. In this part, obviously, we're just dealing with equations, and so let's look at some equations with some denominators and fractions in them, because I know not everybody enjoys fractions. So if we have 17, which is x over 3 is equal to x over 2 minus 2, we could find a common denominator and turn these all into fractions and deal with them that way. My favorite way is to find the least common denominator. The least common denominator, obviously this 2 is over 1, is whatever 3 and 2 and 1 all go into, which we know as 3 times 2, which is 6. So if I multiply everything here by 6, then I can actually get rid of this whole, all of these fractions, and we'll just have a system of equations like the ones we did a minute ago. So we have 6x over 3 is equal to 6x over 2 minus 6 times 2 over 1. Alright, well 6 divided by 3 is 2x. 6 divided by 2 is 3x. Minus 12 over 1 is 12. And then we simply just minus 3x. Negative x is equal to negative 12 divided by negative 1. X is 12. And so we didn't even have to use fractions after we figured out what the LCD was. We just multiplied. One nice thing about the LCD method is if you use the LCD and you choose the wrong thing, perhaps you don't choose the LCD, you choose something smaller, what will happen is you'll still have a fraction left over and you can just multiply by something else and finish it that way. So let's look at I don't know, 20. So we have 20 here. So what we're going to do is we have x over 5 minus 1/2 is equal to x over 6. Here the LCD, 5 goes into 10. So you can just basically, since 2 goes into everything, just check what the LCD of the biggest numbers are and then see if 2 goes into that, if it's even. And it is. The LCD here turns out to be 30. So we're going to multiply everything by 30. 30x over, oops, that's an ugly 5. 30x over 5 minus 30 times 1 over 2 is equal to 30x over 6. 30 divided by 5 is 6x, minus 30 divided by 2 is 15, is equal to 30x divided by 6, which is 5x. Minus 5x. X minus 15 is equal to 0. Add 15, x is equal to 15. So in that case, notice that I got a 0 on this side. That's how you should do that. If you subtract everything from one side, you should have 0 left there, and don't forget to do that. Let's do an example or two of like ones with the x plus 3 on top. So we have 25, which is x plus 3 over 6 is equal to 3/8 plus x minus 5 over 4. I hope that's the right one. Let me make sure. X plus 3 over 6, 3/8. X minus 5 over 4. Okay, good. Now the common denominator here, if we said 12, well 4 and 6 go into 12, but 8 doesn't. If I use 12, then 8 will still be a fraction when I'm done. So you might want to try it. I'm not going to, but the common denominator here is actually 24. So let's multiply everything by 24. Now notice I am not going to actually multiply or distribute this because it will make my job harder, because then you'll have to divide everything by 6 after, and you might not know what 3 times 24 is or something like that, and you might not know how many times 6 goes into that. 24 over x minus 5. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to simplify the 24 divided by 6, which I know is 4. 4x plus 3. 24 divided by 8 is 3 times 3. And 24 divided by 4 is 6. And then we have the rest. And then from here we have 4x plus 12 is equal to 9 plus 6x minus 30. Which, if we keep going, 9 and negative 30, this is 4x plus 12 is equal to 9 and negative 30, which is 6x minus 21. So I minus 6x minus 6x. I hope I haven't screwed anything up, but let me make sure. That's 12, that's good. That's good, that's good. Okay, I think I'm good. It can be a fraction answer. It doesn't have to be a whole number. I was just curious because so far we haven't had any, but it's always a chance that it is. Negative 2x plus 12 is equal to negative 21 minus 12. Negative 2x is equal to negative 21 minus 12 is negative 30. We just add them, 33 divided by negative 2. And x is equal to 33 over 2. And so, guys, if you're struggling, just keep practicing. I think you guys can get these. Make sure you practice these. You can you can do the ones I haven't done on this video. And I'm sure you'll get answers. You can check them by plugging your answer in at the end and seeing. It's just arithmetic at that point. I hope you guys are doing well. We got more videos coming up shortly.